Hello everyone, happy Saturday. It's time for another Saturday Anything Goes. And for today, I was looking around at different fun fold cards. I love to make fun fold cards. And as I was perusing YouTube and Pinterest and everywhere we normally go, I came across a Dutch. Some people call it a Dutch fun fold. Other people call it a double Dutch fun fold. But it's one that I've not done before. So I thought we would go ahead and make one together. This also gives me a great opportunity to use up some of the Botanical Butterfly paper that, yes, I confess I've been hoarding it. I think I've only made one card so far this year with it. And since Sale-A-Bration is coming to a close at the end of March, boo-hoo, I need to obviously get rid of some of it. If you guys could see my DSP stash from last year's celebrations, I promised myself I wasn't going to do it again. But what do you do? So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to use not only the Botanical Butterfly DSP, we will also use the Beauty Abounds stamp set. And we're going to take our outside and inside sentiments from this. And then we're also going to use our rectangle stitched framelits. Boy, anytime I can pull these out and use them, I am a happy camper. All right, let me bring in my little tray here. I always try to keep my different projects in a tray so that I don't lose any pieces. But we're going to start out with these bits, and I'll give you the measurements in a moment, but this is why they call it a Dutch fold card, because it has these cute little doors, if you will, that will open up. And when you do that, your card will rest on it, and that's how it stands up. So really, really cute idea. Now, as far as measurements for this, you will need a piece of cardstock, and I've chosen Grapefruit Grove that measures 4 1/8 this way by 10 inches this way. And I've already scored it, but you'll score it at, if I put it long ways here, the 5 7/8 mark, and then just fold and burnish it. Now, obviously, our card wouldn't stand up without our cute little doors. To make those, you'll need a strip that is 2 inches by 8 1/2 inches, and you will score each end at 2 1/8. So pretty simple. And the very first thing we're going to do is marry these two together. All right, so I'm going to get out my trusty liquid glue here. And these doors are just a little bit wider than what the width of my base is. So instead of putting my glue here, I'm actually going to put it on my card base. I can get my glue to work here. And remember, we don't want it to go up past that 2-inch mark. Then I can marry these two together. So I'll start there, turn it around, and if you notice, I've got a little bit of a gully on either side. And that won't be noticeable at all when the card is actually put together. All right, so now there we have it. There is my little double Dutch beginning. So pretty simple, right? That was another thing that attracted me to this. Now we get to decorate. And I kind of want to weigh a little bit from the instructions on sizing, because I wanted to make the most of my paper. The original one I saw actually had the DSP layered with Whisper White behind it. And I really didn't like the way that looked, because there's so much white in the DSP. So I did away in most cases with the layer of white they had and made my DSP a little bit bigger. So for the front, you'll need a piece that is 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. So it's a square, and it's going to sit right there. So let's go ahead and glue that down. This card's going to go pretty fast. But one of the things I love is that have carte blanche with your embellishments. You can really go to town on your embellishments with this one because you have a lot of different places to use DSP and die cuts and embellishments. So there we have it. All right, so that's my first part. Now on the inside, let me find my inside piece here. All right, what to do with it? There it is. My inside is also going to get a nice big layer of that DSP. So like I said, this gives me a great opportunity to use it up. And this is going to measure about, oh, let's see. It's about 5 5/8 widthwise or lengthwise here, widthwise. Anyway, and then the shorter part measures exactly 4 inches. And so that covers up that entire back panel, leaving just a very thin border of our Grapefruit Grove. You certainly could make this if you wanted more of your Grapefruit Grove to show through, or whatever color you're using as your base. You can kind of measure differently. Just play around with it. All right, so far so good, right? Pretty darn easy. But we have our little doors here that look very, very naked. And this is where we're going to have some fun. Now I cut 4 pieces. Let me get them out here. Of the DSP. Because you've got the front of your doors and then you've got the back of your doors. When this is open, you want it to look nice there as well. And at first I was going to do the side that was just the butterfly, but good grief, when I do that, that is just overkill. So I needed something to give it some separation. And luckily on the back side of our beautiful DSP, we've got the polka dot pattern. And I thought, oh my gosh, that is just perfect. So when you do that, it's just a really nice contrast. So we'll go ahead and glue those down. Now on the original panel, or the original card, I should say, that I saw, again, this was all matted with Whisper White, but with our polka dots, I really didn't think we needed any more white in there than we have. As far as sizing on our small pieces, they are, let me see here, 1 7/8 by 1 6/8. So it's just a little more rectangular than a true square. All right. Oops, get up there, you. I love liquid glue. Okay, so there we have our outside, and we'll embellish this a little bit more, but let's go ahead to our inside. Now for the inside, again, I've got 2 pieces that measure the 1 7/8 by 1 what did I say, 5/8 or 1 7/8 by 1 3/4. And we are going to let the butterfly paper show through on this, but I thought here I've got an awful lot again of that butterfly paper going on, so I cut a couple of Whisper White mats to put behind it, and these are going to be just 1/8 of an inch bigger, so they're 2 inches by 1 7/8, but they're going to give me the perfect layer to set it off. See how much better that looks? Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll mat these 2 pieces, and then we'll get them on there. So we got that one done, and that one done. Oops, come down a little. There we go. Perfect. And then I can go ahead and layer these onto the inside of my Dutch doors. So we've got that one. Got a little too much glue on that, I think, but it'll be okay. It'll just squidge out and I'll wipe it up. Okay. So far, this is what we've got going on. And if I close my little doors there, you can see that that will prop up on it. But when you open it, it's just an explosion of color. Now, as far as the inside of the front, I decided to just leave mine plain. I didn't want to put any more butterfly paper there because, okay, I like butterflies, but that would have driven me crazy. You can, if you like, put a Whisper White mat down there to give additional room to write on. We will be putting a Whisper White panel on the inside here, but it's not a great big one. So if you needed room to write more, I would suggest going ahead and putting a Whisper White layer down there. All right, let's talk about decorating though. First of all, I need an area in the front where I can have a sentiment, right? So this is where our stitch rectangle dies come in. I went ahead and I cut with, I think this is the number 5 stitched rectangle. Let's just check that and be sure, because I did think about using the number 6, but I really like the symmetry. So if I open this up, 1, 2, 3, 4, here's the 5th one. Wait, is that right? Oh, I told you wrong. It's the 4th one. You certainly could get away with using the 5th one, but I wanted to mat this panel. So I'm using the 4th one if you count from the smallest, 1, 2, 3, and this is the 4th. And I cut 2 panels using that. One is for the front, one is for the inside. And then I did want to provide a mat behind this so that when we put it on the DSP, that it gives it a little separation. Hi, Amy. Thanks for joining. So that is going to be our sentiment panel. Here's where we can have a lot of fun. First of all, I definitely need a sentiment, but I also wanted to put some butterflies on my card because, you know, can't have too many butterflies on this one, right? So I just emptied all those out. Now the bigger ones, I actually fussy cut from the DSP. The smaller ones, I was able to use my punch. And let me just show you a trick. If you wanted a smaller one of this, notice how big it is. You can take and cut that out of the bigger one. Just that easy. All you do is line it up so the body's in the center. Give it a press. And there you go. Whoops, where'd he go? Where'd he go? There he is. And then I fluff my butterflies up. Just bend the wings up a bit, and we'll be able to use these. And for my doors, because yes, I love the polka dot, but it needed something else. I thought about ribbon, bows, but then I decided, you know what? I really think the butterflies are going to work well. So as I said, I fussy cut a couple of the bigger ones that we can use on here. And then I thought, well, they're pretty, but guess what? I saw another technique where the person actually layered a smaller butterfly on top of a bigger one. And I really like that effect. So we're going to do that, but I do want to get to my sentiment. So let me put these aside. But I've got 2 for that. And then I've got, where's my other one? 2 for that. So that leaves us with these 4 butterflies that we'll be able to use on our sentiment panel. Now the sentiment for the front, can't talk. The sentiment for the front, as I mentioned, comes from Beauty Abounds. Our friendship isn't one big thing. So I need to decide, do I want it at the bottom or do I want it at the top? And to help me decide, this is why I went ahead and went the step of putting those DSP layers on, because I want to see where is it going to show up best. It's pretty busy up here at the top. I could put it right down here at the bottom, and then that leaves the top free to put my embellishments. And I think I like that. So let me just, pardon my head if it gets in the way here, but I'm going to try and get this straight. Not rocking. That looks pretty good. And by the way, I use Smoky Slate for that. Now I have plenty of room to bring in a butterfly or two. So I can do a double layer butterfly. That one though, I really like how it stands on its own. So I can just do that. And if I wanted to, I could add another one down here. Right about there. And I really like that. Okay. So that helps take up some of that white space. There is still quite a bit of white space on there. And if that bothers you, there are some great stamps within your Beauty Abounds that work well for backgrounds. You have your scatter one, you've got your bokeh dots one. So you could pick any one of these. And I actually think I will use the spatter one. And where I'm going to spatter it is right behind where my butterflies are. So let me get a block here. And then you can decide, do I want to stick with the Smoky Slate, or do I want to bring a little bit of color in? And you know what? I think I'm going to bring in a little balmy blue. So let me open up my stamp pad here. And you can either do it full strength, or if I bring in a piece of scratch paper here, you can stamp off. So this would be at full strength, and then this would be it stamped off. And I really think I like the stamped off because I don't want it to take away from the butterflies. So move this up here. And I know I'm going to have this one right there, so I'll stamp off and then just move my butterfly out of the way and put a little bit there. And I thought, look at how pretty that is. So again, I'm going to stamp off, and this one is going to be down here. I'm going to rotate my stamp a little bit so it's not exactly the same. Now that gives me a nice backdrop for putting my butterflies on there. Very, very pretty. Okay. So what we'll do, now that I'm finished with stamping this, we're going to mat this onto the Grapefruit Grove. And I'm doing everything pretty flat, not using a lot of dimensionals because it's already pretty thick with adding those double doors. So we'll just slide this on here, trying to get an even border all the way around. And now I can go ahead and attach my butterflies. And I'm going to do that with some glue dots. Because really the only place I want there to be adhesive is on the body. So we've got one there, and that way I can still prop those wings up. Pretty pretty. And then which one do I want here? I think I want this one. Has a little bit of purple in it. And again, I'm just putting it where the body would be, and then placing it down, flying in a slightly different direction. All right, now we're ready to add this to our front. Now you might be tempted to put this like we would with a card just so it fits on the front, but I will tell you aesthetically it looks so much nicer if you pull it down to where some of it is actually hanging off the edge. This is also going to help it when you're using your double Dutch doors. So I like to leave, I'd say at least 3/4 of an inch, maybe up to an inch hanging off the bottom. And I want to be sure I don't put any glue there. So I'm just going to put my finger where I don't want the glue. All right, and now I'll be able to just place this down, and there's no glue that would interfere with it being able to open or close. Okay, so we've got that done. Now let's bring our butterflies back in. And here I am going to secure this first one. I'm going to use glue dots to begin with, and then we're going to come in with some dimensionals and make sure that our wings will stay popped up. If I can find where I put my glue dots, there they are. I just cleaned off my desk and I can't find anything. And if you're worried that the glue dots are too thick for the body of the butterfly, just roll it up. Roll it in half. And then just put it right there. And I'm going to have this one flying off in this direction. We're going to do the same with the little butterfly that we're layering. So we're going to use a glue dot here. And again, if it's a little too big, just roll it up. And we'll stick that down. Now the wings are pretty good at staying up since I creased them, but I'm going to put a dimensional underneath just to make sure that those wings don't come flapping down. And I already have one cut in half here, so I can kind of show you. Take off the backing, so there's a little area I want to make sure that when I put it in. So what you're going to do, kind of turn this up a little bit, is you're going to stick this as close to the body as you can. And then now you can see that's going to prevent our wings from collapsing, because you know butterflies can't have collapsed wings. So let me just get a half of another one. Oh, here's one right here, Linda. You could use mini dimensionals too. I just happen to have some already done halves here. And again, I'm going to take and lift, put this as close to the body as I can, and then press my wing into it. So there we go. Nice, nice definition on that. So we'll do this to our next one. And I think I'll have my butterfly kind of flying at a different angle here. I know it's these little bitty parts that sometimes take the most time, but oh, they add so much to your card. Okay, and then once again, I'm just going to cut a couple of halves here. And I'm actually using the edges because you don't want anything to go to waste, right? Peel off my backing. Put it as close as possible. And then bring that wing down. One more to go. I hope everybody's having a good Saturday. We had some beautiful weather here for a couple of days, and then today, yep, all cloudy and gloomy again. All right, right there, press it down and put your wing in there. Now, if you want to put mini dimensionals between the wings of the top butterfly and the bottom one to give it even more depth, you certainly can do that. Okay, so now we have our outside done, and it is just so cute. And here's why I had this come down further, because as you see, it catches behind my double door so that when it stands up, you get the most bang for your buck. And it stands up perfectly straight. So it looks really, really cute. But let's finish up with the inside, because I still have a few more butterflies here. And let me see, where is my, there it is, inside sentiment panel. It's going to be right here. And as you can see, I have a pretty small one, but that's just because down here at the bottom, I didn't want like the edges of Whisper White sticking out. So I used that number 4 stitched rectangle. You certainly can use a bigger one if you like. But let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment on it. And here I'm going to use another one. Pull off this stamp here. From Beauty Abounds, and this one says, "It's a million little things." So it goes well with the front of our card. It continues the saying. That's on there crooked, Linda. Okay. And again, I'm going to ink it in Smoky Slate. And here I am going to put it right at the top, because I do want there to be at least a little room down here where you could sign your name or write just a quick little note. Okay, so there we have it there. And then I do have room where I can still put a butterfly if I like. And let's see, I think I like this one. And I'm not going to prop the wings of this one up. Obviously, it's on the inside, so we want the card to fold flat for mailing. Yes, this card will fit in a standard envelope. So I'll just put the glue dot on the back. And there we go. I got a little smudge there, but I'll take that out with my sand eraser later. Now you could go in and you could add pearls, you could add rhinestones, whatever you like. I'm just going to, I think, leave this blank. It's got plenty of embellishment on it already. And then here, we'll use some good old multi-purpose liquid glue. Just to make sure it's adhered to the back. And I'm not going to put this right in the center. I'm going to place it a little more towards the top. That way I make sure that when I close the card, you don't see any of that peeking out. All right. And that is our finished card. So it's lovely. It goes through the mail just fine. You may want to put a little bit of padding on top of your butterflies, but they'll pop back up. And when the recipient gets it, they open it to see the inside, and to display it, they simply bring out the doors to fit on either side of the front panel, and it will stand up beautifully. Now I know that Sale-A-Bration is coming to an end, and you may not be able to get that butterfly paper if you haven't already gotten it. Don't let that stop you from making this card, because just about any DSP you have out there is going to work beautifully. And let me show you an example of one I've started on. So this is using Petal Promenade paper. Isn't that lovely? And I actually cut this one down a little bit so it's not as wide as the other one, but I will put the double Dutch doors on just like I did with the first one. There's plenty of room for me to put a little sentiment circle there, and when you open it up, Also plenty of room here. I'll probably put in a stitched oval there. So just go through your stash. This was a perfect way. If you bought this paper, you may not have gotten ideas yet on how to use those square frames or the circle wreath frames that are a part of that paper. And that's what spoke to me for this. So don't be afraid to jazz it up. Go through your leftover paper. Maybe there's a pack that you haven't used hardly any. Pull some out, and all you have to do is just make sure when you're choosing DSP that you'll have a piece like I did here for your double doors that is a contrasting to your DSP, because that will really give it a lot of interest. So I hope that you have enjoyed today's Facebook Live, and that you'll give this card a try. I hope you guys have a great rest of the weekend. Be sure and get your final Sale-A-Bration orders in. The occasions catalog will be good through up until the next catalog comes out, but your Sale-A-Bration does end on March 31st. If you have any questions about what it takes to get your free Sale-A-Bration items, please drop me a note. If I can help you with your order, I would be happy to be your demonstrator. You'll be able to go out and get the measurements for this on my blog at cardsbywinnie.wordpress.com. There's also links to the products that were used as well as my online store. All right, everybody, have a good afternoon, and I'll see you next Saturday. Bye-bye now.